o'clock. What's that? Oh, it's 3 o'clock. We will go ahead and call meeting to order and start with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum. Everybody had a copy of the minutes, and we did not have credit card statements, but that was a good time, so we'll get that at a later date. Anything within the minutes that you adjusted, changed, or otherwise you just need to approve?
Spelling the name, but other than that.
Mine? You want the N change to V?
Yeah, the end seems to be, yeah. Other than that, no change. Okay.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opening up for any public comment at this time. All right. Next up is reorganization of the board, which we are required to do based on.
Required to do on this particular date, as state statute dictates.
Okay. Assuming that the existing board members in their office will agree to continue to serve, I move that Shane be continue as president and Amanda as secretary.
I'll vote 2-1. I'm kidding. That's 5 me as well. Any further discussion? Okay, so that's the motion.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up with that is the reorganization of the finance board.
By law, you have to dictate create a finance board each year. It can be another group, or it can be yourselves. And you can do that. You have to elect the officers, and it can be the same officers that you just elect. So it depends on how your motion is.
And in the past, we've kind of kept it as it was. So we want to do anything different? Okay. Yeah. Just need a motion.
I will make a motion to appoint the three of us to the 2022 Finance Board, with Shane as the chairman, myself as the secretary.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Okay, now we're up to the department reports.
As I said in my packet, that because of the timing of the meeting, they didn't, they don't have any written reports for you because enough time to post that yet. So I told them if they wanted to say something, they could. So you can call on each one, and if they got something to report on, something they want to cover, they can.
Township citizens.
You want to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's an X that marks.
We're right, the X that marks the spot. So for the month of December, we had 12 interviews take place. Half of those were approved. Half of those, unfortunately, were denied. I've already had a busy, day back of individuals that are seeking assistance. So January might be revving up a little bit, especially with COVID cases tending to be on the rise. Other than that, that's all Township assistance has.
Okay. Thank you. Human resources.
Hello. Not much going on. We have 4 conditional offers out, 3 paramedics, 1 for a groundskeeper. All that's been going on since last time.
Okay. Are there many openings overall or challenges filling the positions?
Well, we're just starting hiring for the new park, the water park, so that's what this groundskeeper was for, kind of. So we're just starting that process, but we only have one more paramedic for now to fill station 144. 4, okay, 4 more.
Okay.
Oh yeah, with your EDOs. I wasn't counting those, but yeah. So we've been getting applicants as we advertise. So
Good.
And I can send Laura a note to ask when all the lifeguards and the manager and all that. When is that going to be open? She's the lifeguard February.
First is when the town posting is, yeah.
I already know. So it's really interesting.
So, yep, February 1st, we'll have those out.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Community development.
Well, I'm just looking forward to the new year. There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening in the township with the fire station and Murphy Park and the joint session tomorrow with the town of Avon. There's things that are going to be coming out of all those work sessions. So I just look forward to helping all the departments, get that word out there in the community. And I already have 2 community connections kind of signed up for January. I continue to put out information that's going on here in the township. And just look forward to being a resource for anybody that needs me. Okay. Any other questions?
Awesome, thank you. Parks and Rec, recreation.
All right, we closed out the year with the end of our winter camp program. We also closed out the ice rink, so this will be the last year of the ice rink at Washington Township Park, because it'll move over to Murphy Park when that opens. And then we are currently, we just extended a job offer to our maintenance position, and then we are doing interviews right now for aquatics director. We have a timeline that we submitted to Ashley for all of the open positions for this year, just to help her out because it will be a mass hiring. And then Karen helped us design kind of a call out for the pricing for Murphy Park. So we're excited. We're going to unveil that to the community at the end of this week, let them know what the pricing is going to be. And then we'll also be building out our rec desk so that people can start to sign up for season passes. They can start to sign up for different rentals that they want to do at the facility. And so we're excited to get the aquatics director on board so they can help us out with that. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, my fellow department head did not ask me to be brief, but my boss told me to be brief, so I'll be brief. I'll bring up a few things that will happen before next month that I think you might want to know about. This week on Friday, we have a 27-year employee that will be retiring. Steve Wicker has been with the department for 27 years, and we'll be having a send off for Steve at 12:30. We'll be having a little get together for Steve.
What day is that?
That's Friday at 12:30 here. So if you can be here, that would be great. If not, we understand. Number 2, last week before last, Dr. Nassett, Chief Allen and I interviewed EMS division chief candidates, and we're having some follow-up interviews this week. We've narrowed the pool, so to speak, and hopefully we'll make an offer Friday. And then probably to start 2 weeks after that Friday, after they have the ability to give them 2 weeks notice to their current employer. Along with Lieutenant Wicker retiring, we have our recruit graduation for our current recruit class. That's this month on January 22nd, and it's at 4:30. That's a Saturday, and it's at Harmony Baptist. So if you all are available, we'd love to have you there at the recruit graduation. We'll be graduating not only our 8 recruits, but we'll have 2 from Lebanon and 2 from Zionsville. So we'll be graduating 12 people total that afternoon. The last thing I know I brought up earlier that it looked like we were going to have about a 20% increase in our run load this year. I think I may have inflated that just a hair. We've slowed down a little bit in November and December. It looks like we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15% over what our previous year run load was. So that's still a pretty major amount. So we'll have the hard numbers to you when the reports come in. Any questions I can answer? Thank you.
Thank you. Don, you are up, trustee report.
Okay, besides the work that I covered about the meeting in my report to you. The other thing is, at the last meeting, we advised that the State Board of Accounts had done their audit for 2019-20. Because of the way their policies are, we couldn't, Shane, I couldn't share that with you. Now we can because it's posted on Gateway. So we did have a very clean audit and everything came out fine. So I do want to recognize and praise very highly Deputy Trustee Woodard, our assistant, Gail Perkins. Also had some assistance in Bobby Vickers. They went through all the receipts, all the checks, all the reports, everything involved in those 2 years before the audit started, and to make sure that everything is in order and all the I's are dotted and T's crossed. So a lot of that has to do with their hard work, making sure that everything is the hard work that everybody did. The other thing is 2022 will be a very, very exciting year, both of our projects. You'll hear later on from our rep, things are moving along okay. There'll be a lot of new programs rolled out, and so all that hard work and all that things will be happening through the hard work of our organization and all the staff and their dedication. I want to remind you the next board meeting will be February 15th, but it will be at 6:30 p.m. That's when we do the state of the township. We also present our annual report as what requires the law. And then also there is a joint workshop with the town council tomorrow at 6:30 at the Avon Town Hall. I don't know what the agenda is, but it will be a joint meeting, and I think they have the various committees they set up the last time we'll be making reports. So it's all on the calendar. It will be open to the public. It will be live streamed. I think the town on the live stream, they don't take any comments from the public from the live stream stuff, so it will be open to the public. So it's all on the report.
Yeah, and I just, to Britt and everybody that works on, everything related to the audit and whatnot, I think we take a lot for granted that, this is how it should work. From what they said and shared, it doesn't go this smoothly a lot of the time. So, which is concerning as well, but kudos to everybody that it went really smoothly and for me, it went really easy. I showed up twice. Just got to sign off something, but it really went well. So kudos for you doing that. That's great.
Well, I can say every one of the audits that we've had during this administration. So
Absolutely.
we will now switch to an annual audit, so they'll be here next year for this year and every year going forward like that because of the bond.
Okay, moving on to training ground update.
Not a whole lot to report. I think I told the board at the last meeting, we finished the initial training prop that we built. It's done. We haven't painted it. So we've got some gravel to put around, a few things like that. But the structure itself is completed. The contract for the training tower itself was signed by the trustee a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It actually commences today, and the completion date is sometime in April. Depending on what our funds look like at the end of the year, some of the money that we may potentially have left over, I'll probably ask that we earmark some of those additional funds that we had left to try to help complete that project, because we didn't get the fence built, some of the other things that we put in and encumbered money for this year. So that's going to be our priority when it comes to excess funds and encumbrances for the end of the years to try to help move that project forward. Thank you.
You want to do 144 one?
Sure, we go, Chief. All righty. Well, first of all, hope everyone had a good Christmas, New Year's break. I sure did. There was a good amount of work that happened over the last 2 to 3 weeks at Station 144. But before we get to that, we'll go ahead and go to the budget first. We do still remain on budget and on schedule for Station 144. We have about $90,000 remaining in our owner contingency fund and about $43,000 in the construction contingency fund. We are nearly finished purchasing the FF&E as well. We purchased about $150,000 to date on FF&E. We've identified about $14,000 that we have left for just furniture. I do believe that we'll see a significant savings in our FF&E purchases, which is great. So Britt, do you mind pulling up drone photos here real quick? Okay, so I know this doesn't show a lot, obviously it doesn't show anything on the inside, but the outside facade has been completed, it has not been painted, but the board and batten and lap siding is complete all the way around the building. We do have our temporary roof up, that was completed right before Christmas break. That actually allowed us to begin doing our finishes inside of the fitness area as well as the kitchen space. So we're still waiting on an update on the nail base, which is what's going to go over that synthetic felt. We are still being told end of January is when that's going to be released for production. From what I understand, once it is released for production, it should be on and installed within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully middle of February, we've got a permanent roof on and we're completed at that point with that roof. On the inside of the building, we are continuing to do rough ends, like I had mentioned, in the fitness and the kitchen space. The walls are finished, they are painted. Final coat was actually applied last week on almost all the drywall, which is good. It's starting to look good in there and come together. The apparatus bay area, as you can see, we don't have the doors on yet. I'm still being told end of month for those as well. Trying to work on Reorganization to get us a finished date on when those are going to be on and installed. They have begun running pipe and conduit in the apparatus bay as well for the cameras and all the location fire alerting systems. Outside of that, they've got some site concrete they're able to get achieved. The temperatures haven't been very suitable for them to be able to do that. They have been double blanketing all their concrete. So everything on the east side of the building, concrete-wise, is done. So the patio in the back is complete, as well as the sidewalk that leads to that back door on the far, southeast corner. They do have all the curbs formed and poured everywhere else outside of the apparatus apron area. I do plan to install those or pour that concrete in the next 2 weeks. That again is weather dependent. If it's too low of temperature, they don't want to pour it, even if they do blanket it. So hopefully next week they'll be able to start getting some of that done here. Outside of that, Chief, do you have anything to add for Station 144? Things are moving along really well. My Nate's doing a great job of getting stuff done inside and making up time that we lost on our roof issue. So they had to do a little bit of overtime, but they took care of that all in-house, which is great. So that's it for Station 144. If you don't have any questions.
Good input.
Nope.
Okay. Murphy Park.
All right, so we'll get started here on the budget and the schedule. We do remain on track for schedule, and we've actually been able to narrow our budget down to about 87,000 over budget in lieu of 474, which it was originally. So the budget sheets show highlighted yellow items. Those are where I've identified potential savings. I do show a reflected release of $300,000 from our owner contingency to fund the playground. That would still leave us with around 76. In our owner contingency, we've only touched 17 to date of that contingency, which is fantastic. That's great. Again, these are what I've identified as where I think there will be savings. We haven't pulled the trigger on the playground yet, so we still have those discussions that need to be had between Veritas and you guys and R.L. Turner and whatnot. But we do feel comfortable, very comfortable with that matter, that we'll be able to deliver the playground potentially without VEing anything. So we do have a meeting on Friday to discuss VE options with the architect, and then hopefully by the end of next week we get Play Pros on board so they can start fabricating and getting their submittals in. Again, we don't expect Play Pros to be able to deliver this when everything else is delivered, which is fine. We are hoping to be able to get that a few months after, but this won't be something that opens when the park opens.
Settling for the fall.
We're settling. So, and also that number, that $87,000, does not reflect any hard costs. So R.L. Turner still has $273,000 in $173,000 in their construction contingency fund. We did have a meeting with them. They are potentially going to let us release some of those funds. They feel very comfortable. They've only used, I think, 14,000 of that to date, and that's all been overtime charges. And then we've got an $89,000 allowance for unsuitable soils that we have not used yet, that we we may still need to use if they sell decel lands once those begin, but that 87,000 does not include any of that. So we could be set if we don't use any of our unsuitable soils, would be 100% on budget. So those are all good things. So if there aren't any questions on budget, I'll move to the update on progress. So since our last board meeting, I believed that day they had finished pouring that upper activity pool slab. So that is completed. They're actually putting gutters up on the lower end of it right now. That is expected to pour. Hopefully, they're hoping they can get a will call in for that to be poured end of next week. So you have all your walls up and your gutters installed. The wave pool area is complete. All the concrete, they are working on rough ends. As you can see, they're temped in on that far right-hand side of the corner of that building. They are doing rough ends. And then the admin and pool house as well is all temped in. They are beginning rough ends and as well as I believe they are starting to paint in some of those rooms to see where the CMU wall is. So they're doing their fluid applied membrane so they can finish putting the rest of that brick up. Outside of that, they've got a few items that we're still waiting on for the weather as far as getting seed down around the pond. We are still waiting for that to dry out so they can put down their native seeding. And then we've got a few items at the culvert that we're still working through with the township and with that critter walk and whatnot that we do plan to release at the end of this week for them to fabricate all of that material. Outside of that, we have ordered some FF&E. Laura's done a great job with
We're
that.
starting to get a lot of the FF&E in right now. We're storing that at Peacock Park Maintenance Barn. And so we've gotten a lot of that in. We're able to save a lot of money just by price checking a lot of the different things that we have on there. And so we're still working through that list. There's really only one item I'm having trouble finding, and that's an item that, you know, we can play around with a little bit. We actually got to tour throughout the facilities, and it was really neat because you can start to see each different room now. So I encourage you guys, if you have time and you want to come out and check it out, I'd love to give you guys a tour of it so you can see all the different neat things. I was kind of geeking out a little bit because I went back to the pump rooms and stuff like that. After taking the class, it was kind of neat to be like, oh, that's what it looks like in real life. This is what it does. So that was really neat. We're doing the hiring, which is a big deal. We're excited about the playground because, you know, the playground was touch and go for a long time, but it looks like it's really going to be something we're going to be able to accomplish. And then, so we're just getting really excited about, you know, what's coming up and the opening of it. And like I mentioned before, I'll be giving you guys a timeline of the different events that we'll have out there that I'd like for you guys to be at.
And whatever the next set of meetings at 144, that repeat so they know, because that might be a good time when it comes.
For OAC meetings?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So since the holidays, they used to be every other week. We'd have one for 144, then next week we'd have one for Murphy. They're actually the same day now. So we've got, I believe, I'll go through and double check these with the construction managers, but I believe it's 11:30 and 2 o'clock are when the meetings are on Thursday, and that's next week, and it's bi-weekly after that. Right. Whenever you guys, I mean, if you ever want to go look at the site, feel free to reach out to me and we can go tour and walk through it. A lot has happened. You can really start to see the finished product at this point, which is fantastic. But
Wear boots.
wear boots. It's
Where's
very
the
fun.
11 a.m.?
Looks so much.
Which one's first?
The 11 a.m. is station 144, and the 2 o'clock is for Murphy Park.
Thursday the 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
2 weeks after that, and 2
Yep.
weeks after that. So, yeah. That's probably a good time to go because they have them spare anyway, so.
Right.
Take a tour, and questions answered by them.
And the central play feature, all of the structures for it are actually on the site right now too. So we actually got to see a lot of those things in person and see what they look like, all the colors together. It was really neat. Do you guys have any other questions? We've got that policies and procedures manual for the pool. We'll be bringing that to Dawn and HR first, and then you guys will see that coming soon. We're just putting the finishing touches on that. We want to bring the aquatic structure and let them kind of see it as well. But you'll get that here coming soon.
So right now you've got the aquatic director position open, and then you said the maintenance position.
So the maintenance position, we extended the offer letter today. The aquatic director, we are doing interviews this week. We have 5 interviews. Next will be pool managers and lifeguards, because we want to be able to train our lifeguards. Whoever we hire for aquatic director will be trained in training lifeguards. And then after that, the last to be hired will be admissions and concessions, and then we'll start to do trainings at the end of April or early May.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We covered financial, right? There's not anything else. Anything else? So new business, first up, we have the write-off of uncashed checks written by the township.
So I'm gonna have Britt cover that, and she's addressing you as the finance board in this part, so.
These are checks that are older than 2 years, we have to report them to you.
And make sure that, if you would, I put a copy in there saying if you could sign that you received it.
Yep.
Change today's date, and just each of you sign it, and then that way you will have it in the record.
Okay.
But you know what,
We don't have to approve it.
no, just acknowledge you received it, and that's it.
This covers 3 years. Has it been a while since we've done that?
That's it. Okay, next up, we have resolution 010422-01, interfund loan.
I'll go ahead and have Britt cover that with you too.
We're used to these at this point, but we just have to trade money around a little bit so that we don't get cash. It's not an appropriation, it's just the cash to pay the bills. And then when the property tax settlements come at the end of the year, I'll give all the money back to the fund.
Legally, you're allowed to do that, so that takes an act from this board to do that. And, our financial advisor will really put together the figures.
Any questions? No. Just need a motion.
I will make a motion to approve resolution 010422-01, authorizing a temporary transfer of funds.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's approved. Okay, last resolution up is the resolution 010422-02, the amended 2022 resolution.
As you know, at the last board meeting, we approved the salary resolution for 2022. The fire department had some positions that they had not caught, so they'll cover that with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the division assistant, we didn't really change that, division assistant. Oh, it wasn't on there before. So that will be for the training assistants. That'll be on shift personnel that assist with the training division. Support services assistant and the administrative assistant and the mechanic all got raises, but the raises were above what the salary resolution allowed, so we had to increase that. Paramedic bonus officer, we just increased the amount of people that could potentially get that. I don't think we'll ever reach 18, but we just want to make sure that we were covered. The EDO, the EMS duty officer, those weren't on there, so we needed to add that. And the ambulance write-out pay went from 83 cents to $1. Questions?
I move that we adopt the resolution amending salaries of township officers and employees, resolution 1004, excuse me, 10, back up, 010422-02.
I will second.
All those in favor?
I
Okay. Yeah, just take over on the resolution. Okay, any other public comment or wishes to be heard? Okay, if nothing else, let's get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.